Imagine showing up to your favorite rock concert, only to have fans mock you as a poser, until the band spots you and pulls you on stage, revealing you're the legendary Ozzy Osbourne himself. What started as a hilarious mix-up turned into an epic night that rocked the world. Stick around to hear the wild details that prove truth is stranger than fiction. Rock music has always been about proving people wrong. Back in the day, when heavy metal was exploding, Ozzy Osbourne was already a name that divided rooms. Some loved him for his raw energy, the way he poured his soul into every scream on tracks like Paranoid or Iron Man with Black Sabbath. Others saw the wild stories, the bad incident, the chaos, and figured he was just a showman playing a part. But those who really knew the music understood. Ozzy lived it. He grew up in Birmingham, England, working factory jobs, dreaming of something bigger than the gray streets around him. Black Sabbath didn't just play heavy riffs. They created a whole sound that spoke to the frustration and darkness a lot of us feel. Ozzy's voice cut through like nothing else. Gritty, honest, unbreakable. Fast forward to that fateful concert. The venue is alive, sweat and smoke in the air, amps cranked to 11. The band is tearing through their set, hitting every note with the kind of fire that only comes from years on the road. Ozzy's up there, doing what he does best, connecting with thousands who get it. Then from the crowd, this one voice rises above the roar. Someone shouts that Ozzy's a poser, a fake rock fan who doesn't deserve to be anywhere near the stage. Maybe the guy was drunk, maybe jealous, or maybe he just wanted attention. Whatever it was, the words landed hard. The crowd shifts, some laugh, some boo, others wait to see what happens next. Ozzy hears it. He doesn't ignore it or lash out. He pauses, looks out into the sea of faces, and signals to security or the band. Hard to say exactly in the heat of the moment. But instead of kicking the heckler out, they do the opposite. They bring him up. The guy climbs on stage, probably half shocked, half thrilled. The band doesn't mock him. They hand him the mic, step back a bit, and let him sing. And sing he does. He belts out the lyrics with everything he's got, word for word, note for note, pure heart. The crowd goes wild. What started as doubt turns into one of those unforgettable rock moments where a regular fan becomes part of the show. It's proof that rock isn't about gatekeeping. It's about the music hitting you so deep you can't help but live it. That night stuck with people. It showed Ozzy's class. He could have shut the guy down, but he gave him a platform instead. It reminded everyone watching that real fans come in all shapes, from lifelong diehards to newcomers who just discover the power of those riffs. Ozzy's career was full of these turning points. From getting fired from Black Sabbath in '79 because of his wild ways, to building a solo empire with albums like Blizzard of Oz and hits like Crazy Train that still pack stadiums. He battled addictions, health issues, everything life threw at him, but he never stopped loving the music. That concert moment captured it all: resilience, surprise, and the unbreakable bond between artist and audience. Think about your own rock stories. Maybe you stood in the pit at a show, screaming lyrics until your throat gave out. Or maybe someone once told you metal was just noise, and you proved them wrong by sharing a Sabbath track that changed their mind. That's the spirit. Ozzy embodied it. He took the knocks, critics calling him a Satanist, accidents, losses, and turned them into fuel. When that fan got called out as fake, it could have ended badly. Instead, it became a celebration. The band jamming behind him, Ozzy grinning like a proud dad, the whole place united in the riff. Moments like that keep rock alive, generation after generation. As the years went on, Ozzy kept proving his authenticity. Reunions with Sabbath, Ozfest launching bands like Slipknot and System of a Down, even reality TV showing the real man behind the myth. But that one concert stands out because it was raw. No script, no rehearsal, just rock roll doing what it does best, breaking barriers. If you're 25 or 65, you probably felt that rush. The music grabs you, makes you forget the noise, and reminds you why we keep coming back. Ozzy's story, especially that night, is a love letter to every fan who's ever been doubted but kept rocking anyway. Rock and roll has always been full of doubters, people who think it's just noise or that the stars are faking it for the spotlight. Ozzy Osbourne heard that crap his whole life, from the early Sabbath days when critics called their sound satanic garbage to later years when folks questioned if he was still the real deal after all the wild headlines. But he never let it stop him. That concert incident where a heckler shouted Ozzy was a fake rock fan? It flipped the script perfectly. The band didn't boot the guy. They invited him up, handed him the mic, and let him rip through the lyrics like he'd been born on that stage. The crowd exploded because they saw it. Passion isn't about tickets or merch. It's about knowing every word, feeling every riff in your bones. Ozzy watched with that trademark grin, probably thinking, yeah, that's what it's all about. It was a small act that echoed his entire journey, from a working-class kid in Birmingham factories to the Prince of Darkness who changed music forever. Think about where it all started. Ozzy grew up in Aston, a tough part of Birmingham, England. School was rough. He dealt with dyslexia, bullies, even abuse that left scars. Music became his escape. He heard the Beatles as a teen and said it flipped a switch. This is what I want to do. He wasn't some polished prodigy. He was raw, determined. Teaming up with Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward in the late 60s, they started as Earth before becoming Black Sabbath. Those early albums, Black Sabbath in 1970, Paranoid later that year, dropped like bombs. The heavy riffs, the dark lyrics about war, paranoia, and inner demons, they spoke to people who felt the world was falling apart. Ozzy's voice wasn't pretty. It was gritty, urgent, real. Tracks like War Pigs, Iron Man, Paranoid, they built a whole genre. Heavy metal wasn't just music. It was a movement for outsiders. But success brought trouble. By the late 70s, drugs and alcohol were taking over. Ozzy got fired from Sabbath in 1979, officially for being unreliable, but it stung like hell. He could have quit. Instead, he went solo. Blizzard of Oz in 1980 was massive. Randy Rhoads on guitar brought insane talent. Those solos on Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley still give chills. Diary of a Madman followed, but tragedy hit when Randy died in a plane crash in 1982. Ozzy was devastated. He almost stopped. Yet he kept going because the music and the fans pulled him back. Albums like Bark at the Moon, The Ultimate Sin, No Rest for the Wicked kept the fire burning. Zakk Wylde joined later, adding that fiery edge to songs like No More Tears. Through it all, Ozzy battled addiction publicly. Rehab stints, relapses, but he owned it. He talked openly about mental health before it was cool, showing fans it's okay to struggle. That on-stage moment with the fake fan ties right into this. Ozzy could have ignored the heckler or had him tossed. But he chose kindness mixed with challenge. Pull the guy out, let him prove himself. It's like Ozzy saying, "You think I'm fake? Show me what real looks like." And the fan did. Word for word, with heart. The band jammed behind him. Ozzy cheered him on. It turned a potential fight into unity. Rock isn't about excluding people. It's about including anyone who feels the power. Ozzy lived that. Ozzfest, starting in 1996, wasn't just his tour. It launched bands like Slipknot, System of a Down, Disturbed. He gave platforms to new voices, even when critics said metal was dead. He kept the scene alive for younger fans while reminding older ones why they fell in love in the first place. Here in the USA, Ozzy felt like family. He toured endlessly, arenas, festivals, even smaller venues. American crowds loved his honesty. The bad incident in Des Moines 1982, he thought it was fake, bit the head off, rabies shots followed. Crazy, yeah, but it became legend. Same with the dove at the label meeting. These stories painted him as wild, but underneath was a guy who loved his fans. The Osbournes reality show in the early 2000s showed the real side, goofy dad, loving husband, flawed human. It brought in new generations, 25-year-olds discovering Sabbath through MTV, 65-year-olds reliving their youth. Sharon managed everything fiercely, protecting him from the worst. Family kept him grounded. As years passed, health issues piled up. Parkinson's diagnosis, multiple surgeries, falls, the works. But he fought. Reunions with Sabbath, 1997, then 2010s for 13 album and the end tour. Those final shows were emotional. Fans cried during changes, screamed for Paranoid. His last big moment, that Back to the Beginning concert in Birmingham in 2025, had him on a bat throne because he couldn't stand long. Yet his voice held strong. Legends like Metallica, Guns N' Roses joined. It raised millions for charity. Ozzy thanked the fans, said they kept him going. That love went both ways. The power of real fans. It's in stories like the one we're talking about. A heckler doubts, gets proven wrong, not with anger, but with music. Ozzy's legacy is full of those. He supported causes quietly, mental health, addiction recovery. Inspire musicians who cite him as the reason they picked up a guitar. When he passed in 2025, tributes poured in from everyone. Rock stars, fans, even politicians. Why? Because he was authentic. No fake persona, just Ozzy, flaws and all. For anyone 25 to 65 plus watching, think about your own rock moments. That first Sabbath record that got you through tough times. Concerts where you lost your voice singing along. People telling you metal's dead, but you know better. Ozzy proved it over decades. Doubt doesn't win if passion does. That fan on stage, he became part of the legend. And Ozzy, he stayed the ultimate fan himself, loving the music more than the fame. Rock keeps evolving, but the core stays the same. Heart, riffs, truth. Ozzy embodied it. From Birmingham streets to global stages, through highs, lows, and everything in between, he turned pain into power, doubt into triumph. So crank up Crazy Train, sing loud, and remember, real fans don't need to prove anything to anyone, except maybe themselves. And when the music hits, that's enough. Ozzy showed us that night after night, year after year. His legacy? It's in every headbang, every lyric screamed, every fan who feels less alone because of his music. And that's forever.